let's just like get to the meat and bones of this like topic. We were on like the conversation of like people like losing or like things like that. Well, not losing in a sense, but you know, this is funny because it's like, I'll remember like Harada left Tekken a while back, right? Now, another Tekken rep is leaving Bandai Namco, leaving Tekken. Kohei Ikeda, or Nakatsu, right? This is like one of the, I think he's like the battle director of Tekken 8. Yeah, after 20 incredible years, I have left Bandai Namco Studios. Thank you all for your support. Oh my god, bro. Let's read his letter. I have officially left Bandai Namco Entertainment after many years with the company. What the fuck is this? You're leaving us with Murray. Bruh. Ever since I first discovered fighting games as a student, I spent countless days in the arcades, completely immersed in the competition and battling against others. For someone like me, becoming part of the company, I've always admired Namco. I've always admired Namco was truly a dream come true. Looking back now, I realize the opportunity that led me there was made possible by the many friendships and connections I built. As I reflect on the past 20 years at the company, I remember first stepping into game development through SoulCal 4. Yeah, wow, SoulCal 4. Later, I was given the opportunity to work on the Tekken series, a franchise that had a tremendous impact on my life and one that I had always hoped to someday give back to. Being surrounded by passionate and incredibly talented mentors and colleagues, Harada, and dedicated ourselves wholeheartedly to game development together remains one of the most cherished experiences of my life. In particular, being entrusted with the role of game director for Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. I was right, yeah, game director. Gave me the opportunity to connect with fans and members of the FGC from all around the world. Sharing excitement, celebrating together, and spending unforgettable moments with all of you became one of the greatest treasures of my life. There were many joyful moments and many difficult ones as well. Whether it was hearing someone at an event say, "Thank you for the hard work," or being told, "You need to balance the game better." Every one of those comments supported and motivated me, or made me fear for my job. Yeah, all this like fluff of, you know, being polite and stuff like that, we'll skip that. Get ready for the next battle. To everyone who has supported me through this journey, thank you from the bottom of my heart. But yeah, like Tekken is looking a little bit dark and grim now. Weren't we like all excited for like Yujiro Hanma from Baki making it into like Tekken? Tekken 8 is a good game, but the Steam reviews are mixed because of Season 2 and Heat. Yeah, I mean, that's like, well, Heat was like an overall thing back even like in Season 1. But the biggest like nail in the coffin was like Season 2. Characters just like got changes that made them literal casino machines. Like, everybody had like a 50-50, everybody had like a tracking move of like some kind, you know? The only like good like buff that they had was like dodgeable like sidesteps. Like sidesteps are much more easier to do. Well, I mean, this is not like really shocking. Well, no, this is shocking, right? This is more so shocking in comparison to like Harada, where Harada's was not as much shocking, you know, because that man has always been touting retirement for God knows like how long. Ever since probably the start of like Tekken 8. He plugged, dropped like a mixtape and bounced, but we knew Harada was gonna be like leaving at some point. Man is like what? Like old as a dime at this point. But we knew a long time ago. It was just accelerated by like, you know, a colleague's like passing and things like that. Yeah, that just sucks for like Tekken, because now what's gonna happen like in Tekken, they're still gonna be doing their Season 3 pass. They're still gonna be doing Band-Aid patches, right? They're still gonna be dropping like the supposed characters. They're gonna be working on Yujiro Hanma all the way up to like winter, probably like January or something like that. or maybe like December. Let's see. Past like season 3, I think they'll have like a season 4. It's not like the Grim stance where everybody has, where it's like Tekken is like done, it's doomed, you know. 2 of our Japanese like development goats, as young people would say, are leaving like Tekken. No, it's like you're still gonna have Tekken. It still is ongoing. Would it stop at like mid-season 3? I don't think so. It would be shocking if it did. It would be really shocking if it did, but no, they're gonna like finish the season pass, I hope, and do a season pass 4, I bet, because that's how like Tekken 7 was. It only had like 4 seasons, right? Yeah, 4 seasons, right? That's what it's like gonna pan out for Tekken. Now it's just gonna be like the young bucks that are gonna be developing like Tekken, and oh boy, that's not a good sign, because we saw what happened when young bucks were in charge of. Well, I mean, it was oversight by like Harada. Well, Harada had to like no. Well, the story is Harada like wanted to leave like the hands of Tekken development to newer staff, but that newer staff fucked everything up and caused like negative Steam reviews of the game on PC platforms, until Harada had to come back and like oversee Tekken and fix all that shit up. Now he's gone and is working with like SNK. But that's just gonna be oof. Are we gonna have Heat much longer now? Maybe? I heard like the newest patch for Tekken, it mitigated some like heat healing issues that a lot of people like had, and just heat like overall. So it is cool, but time will only like tell. Tekken is like on this like spiraling downward path of like, you know, and almost as if it feels like self-destruction. Yeah, they could like make it more brain dead than it already has, bro. Like, it was like incentivized as casual friendly if we do like, you know, some retrospection, right? Because the whole point of like Heat was to make it more like a casual friendly Tekken than the defensive one that was like in Tekken 7. Right? Where like Tekken 7 was a beautiful game, you know, like beautiful dances of je ne sais quoi, there's no like heat bullshit, right? It was just like raw as Tekken. That was some cool shit, you know. Even like some of the later some of the earlier stuff and the later ones in Tekken's like lifespan, you know. It took a long while for the game to get really like flavorful with like top 8s, but hey, at least it was enjoyable to watch Tekken, you know? It's enjoyable to like watch over here, but looking back, it's like Tekken 8 especially, it was like made with like a casual mind at best. It was not really made with like a competitor's one in mind. It took Arslan Ash a long while to figure out the style of the game, but that goes to show, you know, like there's a lot of stuff to make like that makes like Tekken like really like, you know, for the beginners. You know what? I kind of see that. Like, it's very much casual friendly. Casual prioritized rather than casual friendly. A lot of people really love Tekken 8 because of like the systems and the mechanics that it, like, you know, it offers, right? There's just a lot of like, you know, it's my turn whenever you play like Tekken. There's a whole bunch of like plus frames. There's a whole lot of like, you know, just moves that take up like priority in Tekken. I would like there to be like a season 4, because I don't think this will be like the end of Tekken, unless Bandai Namco just out of nowhere at the end of like near the end of season 3 would say like, hey, this game is not doing successful, we're gonna put it in the Bandai Namco vault forever. and you're never gonna see it again. Here's a new Cisne Accelerus Platuna Patuba or some shit. Some anime fucking weeaboo game or some shit, you know? And that's another thing, right? Because this is like mostly Bandai Namco. I do like have something where Twitter, well, I'm taking it from Twitter, that's the worst place, but hey, you know, this is Moonsault Slayer, like a really good like Tekken news reporter. Harada Nakatsu left Bandai Namco due to greed and terrible treatment of staff. In 2024, a whistleblower exposed the work conditions of Bandai Namco Entertainment created. At the same time, Harada began expressing frustration with B&E, focusing on profits over passion. But it does like have some weight about like Bandai Namco. I never liked Bandai Namco, considering like how they treated Dragon Ball Fighters. How long did we get like rollback netcode, homies? We got like season after season, cool, but we still had to deal with the shitty online until recently, you know? I give like Bandai Namco like a lot of shit, bro. I was gonna get like a new Bleach game. What did I get? Bleach 3D Fighter. Well, Bleach, not 3D Fighter in a sense, Bleach Arena Fighter. Let me check out like Harada's post from 2024. Harada had to like cut down like his post because Bandai Namco was like overseeing his ass. I've heard about. As games become a major industry, many stakeholders have emerged. There are more and more self-proclaimed game industry people and executives who are not creators, do not even have development experience, and do not directly face the voices from the fan community. Come to think of it, it seems like every year there are more and more people who, when I try to do something with an idea, tell me, don't do it just because of an idea or passion. I've done a lot of things with an idea, and that's why we have the foundation we have today. But I guess people who don't have experiences making things don't understand that, well, this is how mature this field has become. Don't ask me for shit. If you're worried that June's appearance means Harada isn't thinking about throwing her son into a volcano, think again. The first people that come to mind were perhaps certain executives at our company, Harada says. They change quite frequently, and some of them are only interested in obtaining the highest profits possible to further their careers. And they have no regard for development schedules or brand timelines. So some of them quickly flashed into my head, but if I had to think and I had to pick a Tekken character, it's tough because most of them would probably survive if we look past those instances. Yeah. What was the other? Let me just like look at this leak, even though I don't. Let's see. Bandai Namco wanted to downsize their gaming studios to cut costs, so they ended work from home and fired the employees who couldn't come back immediately due to sudden mandatory return to work. There weren't enough seats, so people had to cram in, resulting in many floors experiencing oxygen deprivation. Contracts of temporary employees were terminated. Permanent employees were sent to a department known as the dismissal department, where they were given no work, but their performance evaluations were lowered to encourage voluntary resignation. They rummaged through past events and PC logs to find faults, investigate employees' PC logs and work performance over several years, and if there is even the slightest mistake, they use that as an excuse to fire them, saying, I committed problematic behavior in the past, so I have no future at the company going forward. This is a leak, but it's not like the interviews that Harada like just said, like it is not far off. They also spread negative rumors about employees whose resignations have been confirmed to other companies. Employees whose resignation has been confirmed are contacted with messages such as, you should not associate with a person named partially modified, obstructing their transfer to other companies. Shit. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I give shit on like Bandai Namco. I give shit on like any company, mind y'all, I do. But if I see shit, I will call them out on shit. But yeah, just like Bandai Namco's pretty shitty. Like, it is one of the many shitty companies that are out there, Japanese gaming companies that are out there. It's just like, yeah, they just don't like prioritize like games, and they're just here to like see a game, make like a profit, and then move on to like the next game. And a lot of like anime dudes eat this shit up. Like I said, with my example with my boy Dan, he didn't care if Bleach was like a legit like fucking fighting game. Nah, as long as it's a Bleach game, that's all that matters. Nobody cared when My Hero Academia made its like 4th fucking installment with like the final arc. People still played it. Nobody cared when they later did. Nobody cared when Jujutsu Kaisen came out with a fighting game. They still bought their ass because that's what Bandai Namco sells to, is the fucking online deprived anime fans, you know? And sometimes Souls. Souls is under like the Bandai Namco umbrella. FromSoft, that's their money market. That's their favorite child, cause Soul games like always sells. Now they're like letting go of like Tekken. I could already foresee Bandai Namco letting go of Tekken because it's not making a lot of profit, and it's causing like Namco to have a lot of flack. You know, it's just man. Let's see what the future has in store for Tekken, right? Let's just try to watch it, see what happens. If shit happens for Tekken.